Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome. We have a special guest, y'all.
Yes, we do.
Welcome to the building.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Between
Thanks
the
for
Sheets
having
with
me.
Leah, Dana, Whitney.
Yes.
This is where we
Yes.
get very intimate. We talk about the unspoken things that people think about. We get the real,
Yes.
the grit, the dirt,
Right.
the grind.
Yep. Get the
Yes.
juice.
Yes. We got a lot of juice this morning from Whitney.
Yeah.
It's probably been left out.
It's been entertaining this morning.
Hey, man.
It was entertaining. So let's just go around the room and introduce ourselves really quick one more time. Just
One more
a little bit
time.
about-
Go ahead, Whitney.
Yeah.
Start
I don't
us
have a little
off.
spiel like Leah does.
Girl, you got to think of something.
I just
Look, every episode you have an opportunity to practice.
That's right.
Like, this is it. Ready?
Nobody's judging you.
Introduction. 1, 2, 3.
My name's Whitney, and I'm
Yes.
a makeup artist for the Boudoir Studio.
Hi guys, good morning.
Oh, snap.
Hey, Leah at the boards, it gets crazy. Just so you know. This is already fun, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Danny Keith, father, filmmaker, creator, owner of Danny Keith Film. And I don't like to put myself in a box because I'm a lot more. But
oh, that's
you're
new.
on this podcast, on Podcast Shouty, you heard?
Podcast
Welcome
shouting.
to the building.
We need to record that so you can play it back.
That was a good one. It is recorded. I'll use it forever. I appreciate the plug. Ow. And then we got a special guest as well.
Yes.
But go ahead before we introduce our guest, because we're going to go ahead and I want to dive into his story. I think it's a
I'm
awesome
excited.
story.
Super excited.
And then we're going to tie in our theme today as well with it, because I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
So,
introduce yourself, our
my
main
name
host.
is Leah with Between the Sheets.
This is episode 2. You got the title right. Good job, girl. I'm proud of you.
I'm calling you
I'm
out.
telling you all the time.
Sassy. Dana is sassy
You could
today,
have just
guys.
not said anything, and I would have looked really good. Between the Sheets with Leah.
Get it, girl.
And I am a photographer. I am a CEO. I am a mother, a wife.
Amen.
I am a action taker.
Yes,
how many
ma'am.
more you want me
Say
to
it
throw
again.
out there?
Yeah, action taking money maker. What'd you?
Manifesting queen.
Go
Yes,
ahead.
I
We need
love
the
it.
whole thing. I love it. And then we have our special guest with
Yes.
No Shine Project. Is that right?
Yep, No Shine
All
Project.
right, give us the introduction.
Yeah, so my name is Joey, owner, creator of No Shine Project. I'm a husband, father, good friend, all that stuff too.
Amen.
Yes.
The No Shine Project was created a while back, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Right now, though, it's I have some photography experience too.
Nice.
All
Nice.
that collab 1519. We also do different kinds of
1519 on the gram.
Yep.
Ooh,
Also
okay.
do that as well. So that's a little part-time gig too. So yeah, that's me.
Super dope. Super
Yeah.
dope. See, Whitney, there's a lot more than just a title, right?
right.
So now
Yeah,
let's
you're so much
reintroduce.
more
What
than
else?
that.
No, I don't know. I'm
Yes,
not ready. You
are.
can't
You're
put me on
so
the
much
spot like that.
more. See, look, I'm not just putting Leah on the spot. We're
This is
going
my
both
entry.
ways.
That's what it is. That's
Just a
Whitney
smile.
Lamb,
Just a
her
smile. It's good. It's good. All right, Leah, what we got today? What is our topic?
Well, we're staying with the main theme of our topic, which has been mindsets and faith and power thoughts. And so
Yep.
last week we talked a little bit about faith, what faith is. It's it's belief, it's a thought in things. It doesn't have to be that complicated. When
Right.
people think of the word faith, it really does not have to be that complicated. It's something that you believe within and that you execute with action. So what I want to do and what I really want to kind of dive into these next couple of weeks are different mindsets that can either benefit us, and be edifying, or that can break us down. And if we dive into the ones that are breaking us down, how do we then fix that mindset? How
Yeah.
do we then change that paradigm or whatever was instilled in you, generational curses, there's a lot of different things that we're going to dive into. And so today, after hearing, background, I saw Joey's Instagram. It popped up and I liked his photography first, right? Foremost, the photographer, I was like, oh, those are nice pictures.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of checked him out. And I was like, oh, okay, he's a personal trainer. And everybody knows I have to get my butt kicked. I have to have somebody tell me what to do.
Of course.
I just don't have the motivation to do it by myself. So I checked him out, and then happened to be that he was right here in the heart of Fountain, Colorado, right actually near my old house. And so I hit him up and was like, hey, I'd like to come and check this out, and went and loved it. He was super professional, very organized, very different from my prior trainer.
Oh, no.
No shade, no shade.
We
That's
got
just
the
very
juice.
different,
We
just
got the
very
juice
different.
real early.
Never gonna listen.
Uh-oh. Don't go to him.
He just had a plan, and he was very structured.
We be cutting up on this podcast. Gosh, it's so good.
And so I went and we just started talking, and I found out a little bit about his story, which just intrigued me. People's stories intrigue me all the time. So I loved what he had to say and kind of how he built his business. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, this is, I got to bring him on. So
Yeah.
Sure.
So tell us about your beginnings, because I think you have a very interesting beginning of when
before
you started.
No Shine.
Before No Shine.
Yeah.
Before.
So start kind of back through my childhood real quick. So
Yep.
I was born in Denver. Pretty much me and my sister grew up mostly always together. My mom
Yep.
and my dad both lived.
You can pull it back if you want.
Okay. Both lived separate, so we kind of grew up, dad's side, mom's side sort of thing. And there's one point in my life where you had to like choose. It was like, you want to go to your dad's side, you want to go to
That's so
to
hard.
your.
That's so horrible.
It was tough, and there at one point I really remember because the families were so bitter towards each other. So it was really hard as a young kid, being 9 years old I want mommy, where's dad? And so it was really hard for me to understand what was going on. And same thing for my sister. It was hard for her to really decide.
So two of you, brother, sister?
Two of us. She's older, and it was hard for us to really decide. And so like at one point, we really separated, and I chose my mom's side. She chose, I felt like it was more my dad's side.
Yeah.
And that was like the split of us. And at the time,
Dang.
my sister was my rock, if I was scared, it was my sister, like listen to Boys to Men in our rooms, close the door.
Yes.
Listen to all the good music, and that was like our escape. And so once that was gone, I felt like I was in the open at a young age, kind of like left to, what are you going to do? Where are you going to
Fend
go?
for yourself.
Yeah, really fend for
Independent.
myself. Exactly. And going through school, I struggled. Couldn't really read until like the 8th grade. So everything was always a struggle, math, everything. And so I had to really work hard, get extra tutoring. I had to like structure myself because nobody else was doing it.
Right.
I'd go home and it would be, empty house, empty fridge.
Latchkey kid.
Yeah, just
I can
everything.
relate to that.
Yep.
Everything was just very, I guess you say like empty. Like every time I go into like
Wow.
my house, at a young age, it'd be like, what are we going to eat today? And thankful for tortillas, cinnamon sugar, and
Hello.
butter, like rolling
Cheese
those
sandwiches.
up. Yep. So, lived off those, I felt like, for a majority of my life. But
And was your mom working?
yeah, my
That's-
mom was a server pretty much just growing up, always served at restaurants. She worked nights. And so, didn't see her at the same time. My dad's a T-shirt screener, so he's printed shirts out. And that's kind of what I known he did, and I didn't really know anything else until later in life. He was also alcohol was a problem for him, and so kind of like him being very absent in my life, in and out of prison, years and years of that. It was just sort of like, who do I look up to? Where do I look to? And so I think at a young age, I always looked up to myself of like what I'm going to do to get out of it. What am I going to do to push forward? I try not to go to other people because I had no trust in other people. So if I felt like
That is
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
that you say that you didn't have any trust in people. Is that mainly because of the situation? Because they put you in the situation where these people that you were supposed to be trusting were.
Yeah, I think it was like part of that. So it's like if I can't trust my parents and I can't trust the people that are around us, like immediate family, then who do I trust?
Yeah.
And if my family wasn't going to be the ones to hold my hand and guide me, then I couldn't look at another family member and be like, are you the one? Because it was hard for me to look at them in their life and see like, I can't follow you. You're just at the same level as everybody else, and dealing with your own stuff. You don't have time for me. So it was at one point, though, where basically my dad had taken me and my sister to California. Supposedly my mom had no idea. And so we're in California now, living in Anaheim.
Do you remember how old you were?
I was about 9 years old at that time. So separated us. I'm with my sister, though, so I'm safe, right? And so about 2 years later, though, my mom came out there, grabbed us, brought us back to Colorado, and I was back into I think the 4th grade, 5th grade at that time. And I was struggling hard. I was getting
You're constantly being ripped from
Yeah,
security. Once you find your footing, they constantly keep taking you from it.
And I think at this
crazy.
time, like going in, you know, I was at like the seventh elementary school.
Gosh.
So the friends that I had were not really there. You know, there was nobody there. So when we come back to Colorado, that's where I was really struggling. I was like getting almost suspended from schools. I was really just struggling. And so my mom and my grandma decided to put me into our charter school, which was like a life-changing experience for me because it's structured different. You wear a uniform, so it doesn't matter what kind of shoes you have, doesn't matter what kind of T-shirt you have on. And so that for me was like the structure was what I was looking for. And so the charter school, as soon as I got in there, I was still calling, you know, teachers names. I was definitely still throwing kids around. I was definitely full of anger at like 10 years old, but the way they disciplined me was way different than anybody's ever disciplined me. They weren't like, you know, smack me, go to your room. There was like, look, these are the actions you're taking. Is this what you want in your life? And at that time,
there are consequences for your decisions and showing you the power in those decisions that you're making. That's powerful.
Exactly. And so, you know, at that age, I was really starting to take a turn for the better. I wanted to learn how to read. I wanted to be good at math. You know, I wanted to understand science, and I really wanted to understand like different languages. And so at that time, you know, I was looking at like 10, 11 years old, and the only person that would, you know, is going to kind of keep pushing me was me. And so I was like, I need to learn how to read. I need to read X amount of books. I needed to learn how to spell. I need to like take it to the basics and
is that
learn
not
these
crazy?
things.
What a big thing for you to have to take on at that age to decide to come to that decision like, oh, I need to be there for me.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where I had enough of crying. I remember like this legit crying in my bed night after night because I would fail everything. I would fail test after test, exams, everything. I was just failing. And I remember like legit crying, and like my mom kind of being like, it's okay, don't cry, don't get so frustrated. But by nature, I'm just a very competitive person, and so like if I'm not,
you're getting chills.
I know,
he's getting chills as he's talking.
I haven't talked about this stuff in years, so it's like to let this out. Might as well let it out, let people know who I am, where I come from. Yeah. But like these things I haven't talked about, you know, being in my room, being frustrated is at one point though, it's like I'm gonna lock the door, close the door. I'm going to teach myself how to do this. I'm going to teach myself how to learn. I'm going to teach myself how to read. I'm going to college. Like I'm going to college. I don't know how, but I'm going. And that's kind of like in my head. I'm graduating high school because nobody has in my family for years. Wow. I think, you know, it was 70s, 80s when someone graduated high school. So it was like kind of me coming in. You know, my sister did it. And so I was determined. I was like, I'm going to be different.
How much older is your sister?
She's about 4 years, 5 years. Yeah. So it was like a real struggle, you know, but like being in that time, it was just me putting my head down and trying to become somebody. Yeah. So kind of like, fast forward a little bit, that's kind of like the childhood, you know, don't want to get too deep into like everything.
But it gives us.
Just in a nutshell, that's my childhood, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it gives
just as you were speaking, I'm like that, you know, just some of the stuff
there is something that I thought was really, really interesting. And this might be like something that Leah could jump in on, but you said that you were trying to be like the person you could be.
Right.
It's like that ideal. Right. You know what I mean? Yep. And I think that's something what Jesus is to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and it's to us for us. You know, it's only you or the potential you that you can compare yourself to. You
exactly.
know? Yeah, so I think that's super crazy that's what drove you and what catapulted you to then look in the mirror and say, hey, I can do this and I'm going to do this.
Right. Yeah. No, that's exactly right. You know, and being able to really kind of at that age look at other people around you and what they're doing. It was one of those things where I'm young. I wasn't really comparing myself, but I was like, I want that. I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to try that. And so that's sort of like at a young age led me to being like, how do you get there? How do you do those things? Like, I don't understand like how these people push themselves so far and get there. Like, that doesn't make sense to me at that age, but they were there. So I had inspiration from all over, whether it was like athletes, whether it was actors, whether it was musicians. It's an art. Everybody has an art. And I'm a very creative minded person. So if you have a profession that's creative and it's artistic, I'm drawn to it. So it's like, I don't care what it is. If it's music, if it's something I don't even know how to do, I would like appreciate it. And I like really like to know how people work, because I like to pull stuff from other people and make it my own so that I can be more creative than others, sort of thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I think is powerful in that as well is that, and I always am going to take it back to this, but the fact that you were able to see all the gems around you, that you were able to see all the people and the things and the opportunities.
To be aware of the blessings.
To be aware of your blessings at such an early age, and
also at an early age, but with so much adversity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like through so much adversity, through the damn storm, you still could even you couldn't even see the light, but you could imagine it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you still had faith that there was something else.
Well,
absolutely.
and even without faith,
Right.
that God was placing things and opportunities within your pathway.
And that's the thing that I was going to say is even those moments where you said specifically that you felt like you were coming home and you felt alone and you were coming to this empty space, you were never alone.
Yeah,
he was with you 24/7. He was grooming you for what you were getting ready to walk into.
No, that's exactly right. And that's being able,
amazing.
And it's kind of like to feed on that. It's like I remember being in this class and it was called morphographic spelling, and I remember at the time I couldn't even say it. I was like
Right.
And it was like a real struggle. But basically, what it is you break words up, break their words up, and basically you sound it out, and then you have your word. And to me, that was a process. So one of the words, and this is crazy, was perspective. And I remember looking at the word perspective and then not knowing what that meant. And I was like,
damn,
what is that? Like, what is perspective? And so I remember having a thesaurus or something like a dictionary, and I remember looking it up, and I couldn't barely read what it said, but I basically was like saying, looking at something different.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what photography is to me. It's like taking a picture or an image or a vision and basically saying, I can look at that different than the other person.
Yeah.
And that's how your life should be. You can look at life completely different than other people, no matter what you go through. So like photography at a young age.
There's such a gem in that one.
Yeah.
Really taught me. Yeah, and that this taught me to find those gems in those perspectives. I can look left and I can look right. They're two different perspectives.
Yep.
I can look straight forward. That perspective is completely different than the two on my side. So it's like, that's always stuck with me. If I'm going through struggles, if I'm struggling mentally, just where I'm at, I try to look a different way because there's going to be a different perspective.
I love that.
That's so powerful because it's exactly right. We have so many opportunities in our life where we're looking left or where we're looking right. We have a choice, right? But the choices don't necessarily have to be bad.
Right.
They're just different.
Right. And then that comes into that right or wrong. It's like you can do the right things by looking a different way, and you can look, the other way and say, this can be the correct way I'm going. And that's kind of what, once you get into No Shine, what it represents. It's always black and white, right or wrong. What are we doing? Are we doing the right things? Or are we doing the wrong things? Where are we pushing ourselves into our perspectives?
So catch us up then. So now you've determined at what point in your life that you love working out.
This probably was going through high school. At high school, I was a little kid. I showed up, 5'8", 5'7". I think I weighed myself when I got into high school because there was a scale, and it was like
he was aware.
Yeah,
he was aware.
It was like 119 pounds walking into high school, and I was like, okay.
And was high school 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade?
Ninth grade. So walking into high school, I was about 119 pounds. And somebody actually told me this. They were like, "Man, you're skinny. You look kind of sick."
Who told you that?
Yeah, and at this time, it was like this thing where
you was big as hell compared to me.
Well, I lost a bunch of weight before I got to
I was
high
95 pounds when I graduated high school. I was skinny. I had teachers pull me aside and be like, "Is everything going all right at home?
Are you okay?
Are they feeding you at home?" I'm like, "Yeah." What you mean?
Goodness. Yeah, it's one of those things too. Where like in high school, it's everybody. Trying to find your place. And so being small to me at that time, it was, and these guys are big in high school now. I'm coming from this little charter school going to high school, and I was like, everybody's so big. Like, right. And so it was one person basically saying like, man, you're small. Like you're like a
Go
small.
ahead and call his name out.
You're small. You're small.
I bet you he's
kid.
small now.
Yeah, right. Or he's really overweight.
Ooh, petty. I love it.
track,
A little bit.
you know who it is?
I love
He said
it.
he keeps track.
Yeah, no.
He knows.
It's the people that just like they try to come after you
And they
the
push you to be
bullies,
better
know?
than
Be great.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was like a turning point for me. So that was a real turning point of like, how do I get bigger? I obviously don't like to eat a lot, so it was just like I can't go and stuff my face because I'm so small anyways. It's not going to really work out. So it just kind of came with working out. Once I started working out and start to feel a difference and muscle come into my body, I was like, man, this is crazy. Like you go on weights and you just lift them, and then next thing you know, you get muscle. Is that how it works? I was like, I was kind of really confused at that age. Again, nobody was guiding me. Nobody was telling me like, this is how you do it. I was just like, trial and error.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. Trial and error. I'm gonna get up in the morning, and my mom remembers me waking up at 6 a.m., going to high school, doing sprints, hills. And she was like, why are you doing this? And I was like, because I want to.
You fell in love with it.
Yeah, I want to be out here. I don't want to be anywhere else. I want to be doing this. I want to be fast. I want to be strong. And I got to put in the work.
That's just crazy that you found that amount of discipline at such a young age.
Yeah, I think
There's those circumstances that shape you in all areas of your life. And fortunately, he found it early and was able to shape him and move him. And so many, it shapes them in an opposite direction. You know what I mean? So
and
that's powerful.
That's like what I always like keep seeing this saying, like iron sharpens iron. And it's like one of those
that's
things.
That's proverb, just so you know.
Yeah, that's, it's I keep seeing it though. And when I think about when I was younger, that's really what shaped me though, was going into gyms and being able to put headphones in or not and just be able to sit there and understand how the stuff works. You're manipulating your body to go different ways, and I started getting bigger and bigger and better at sports, faster. And so I was like, this is cool. Like you can push yourself so far, and you can actually physically change yourself with an object. And to me, that was like insane, like connection. Like once I touched those weights, it was like it was love. It was like I was an escape. I can leave everything behind me, and I can just be me. So that's where like the fitness really started, was in high school, being able to just change myself physically. I felt like I was more prepared for anybody that was basically telling me I'm small again. It's like, well, this thing is like, say it again, I'm going to put you in a chokehold.
Say it again. Say it again. Yeah. Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Move faster.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fast and strong, and that's how I felt though, you know. I was still this very insecure, shy kid, but I had this image now that I was strong and fast.
You had confidence. You built confidence.
Yeah.
Right.
But did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
I was still this like small kid, but he saw himself as something else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that was important though.
Oh, that's so important.
That was like my shield. And no one's going to get past the shield to get into what's in here, because in here it hurts. And so for me, I was like, try to come at me. You got to get through the wall first to get to the feelings. And so at that age, high school, I was still struggling as a young teenager of who I am. And that was just one of those things where it was like, I'm building like armor. And I'm building armor, and I'm fast. If anybody tries to come get me, I'm gone. That's how I always felt. It was like, felt like I was a gazelle with armor.
You protected yourself.
Yeah.
You did what
and
you
that's the
needed
only
to
way I
do.
could, because again, nobody's going to do it for me. So
Hello.
I had to put on the armor, and that was just going summer after summer, lifting weights.
Yeah.
Not, just really just doing it almost like quietly though. Like I never really told people why I
You
was
weren't
doing
advertising
I like
your
it.
gym
Right.
use,
yeah, that's
which
good.
a lot of people do.
it. Yeah, exactly.
They say you gotta keep those things quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to celebrate and you want to put stuff out there, but sometimes you need to keep stuff quiet, because you could put it out there and there people are, they're speaking negative
And
things
people's
against
reactions
you,
when you do come out, because I went through that little phase when I was starting to work out right after the divorce, and I dropped almost 150 pounds, and I was coming out, and everybody was like, "Oh, you look really healthy." I was like, "Was I a mess before?"
Yeah, let me know.
Get the hell out of my face! Tell me. Right.
Yeah, what'd you say about
Leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Say it again.
me? Yeah, say it again. No.
But it is. Yeah, they come to you and they're like,
Yeah.
I got a question though. And I might be too my question might be too serious for the joke. All right.
No.
So you said that you put the shield up and you still had the little boy inside.
Oh yeah.
And that the shield is for the environment. It's to protect you.
Right.
And you know, your environment dictates that. But as you get older, you know, your environment changes and and you can kind of control some of those variables.
Yep.
Speak about how you are, you know, addressing that boy.
Yeah.
Addressing that kid inside.
No, it's a great question.
It's a really good question.
Yeah, because we still have it. At
Yeah.
points in our lives when I don't care what you say, I'm the very first one to admit it, that there's a little girl that lives inside of me.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes she cuts up and has a good time, and sometimes she's mean and ruthless, and she's like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We all have that fight inside of us, and how we control it's important, because as we get older, we're faced with more than I ever was in high school. And so as I get older, that armor started getting really beat. You know, it was like there's holes everywhere. So if you think of it that way, now I'm getting more into my feelings. I'm not seeing my parents eye to eye. I'm not seeing like everybody in my life come together and basically like want to celebrate life with me. It was one of those things where it was there, but it didn't feel like genuinely there. It was like a point where I was like, watch me, please watch me. And I couldn't get that from anybody. I was like,
damn.
I was a amazing baseball player, an awesome soccer player. And I was like, I want to look in the stands. Watch.
Nobody's going to celebrate me in this hard work.
Yeah.
Damn.
So as I got older, I know that armor started getting pretty beat up. It's kind of like lost really just like my touch into who I was, of like where I wanted to go. That little boy of like, I'm going to be something. I'm going to do it. You know, I got real lost. You know, went through college, struggled pretty like hard coming out of college. Moved around a lot, had every job in the world. You know, I was on Indeed, Craigslist, typing up like, oh, what do I want to be? I'm a construction worker. I'm all this stuff. And I was just so lost at this point. But as a kid, I was so sure of what I would want to do. I was going to be a firefighter, went through a fire academy, did all that. But still, that wasn't it. It was like, you just went through.
Was it feeding you?
Yeah, went through school, did all this stuff, and that's not it. And the firefighting thing was there, helping people, running into the trouble. Like, I can do this. I'm meant for this. Just wasn't there though. It wasn't enough. It wasn't like, it was somebody else's thing that they're creating, taking people and putting into it, and then they're feeding the people out. Here, give it work. And I wanted my own thing. I was like, I want something that's created by me, because I'm a creative mind. And so as I get older, I'm still, you know, getting beat up, but I'm going through all these jobs and going through all these phases. I'm just learning of what I don't want to do and what I don't want to be. And my mom and
learning what you don't want to do.
Yeah, that's so good.
And
That's key.
my mom, my grandma would be like, pick something. You're 22, you're 25. Pick something, do something. And I haven't found it yet.
Right.
And they're always like, you know, age, you're getting older, you got to find something. I was like, but I haven't found it. Like, I've done all these things, got all these certifications, just couldn't find what that was. And so basically went back to where I sharpened myself, you can say. Like, I went back to the weights, and I was like, you know what, this is natural. This is where I, you know, invested all my time as a kid. This is where I got comfortable with myself.
Found familiarity in it too.
I touched those weights again and started focus on the changes and building the armor back up. And I was like, I'm gonna teach people how to do this. I'm gonna show people how to create it. So to me, that was just like me. Like, if I can do it, and I was that little kid, scared, ripped apart in pieces, anybody could do it.
Oh
I
my
was
God,
like, you know,
that's your why. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
Such a powerful why.
So that's where fitness really sort of like came back into my life. And at the time, you know, with just having knowledge of what to do, I just began to really learn more. You know, I remember like going to Barnes & Noble with my wife and my kids and opening up bodybuilding books and being like, I just want to know how you do more. I want to know how you do it more, faster, quicker, stronger, the correct way. So getting those books, buying those books I still have today, it's like, that's where it started though, is like knowledge, self-examinate of like who you want to be, who you want to kind of approach. And that to me was like in itself terrifying, because I got to like approach somebody now and be like, hey, want to work out? You know, I'm not saying you're overweight or saying you need to.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not saying you need to, but you know, I can help you. You know, it was like one of those things where it was terrible. What am I doing now? Like, okay, I got the knowledge where I want to go now.
Okay. And I just want to say this here, because knowledge, and I talked about this in the speech, is knowledge is one thing. That is the information, and you had it, but then you had to apply it,
Right.
Yes.
which is wisdom. And that is a lot of times terrifying parts, but
Right.
the word says that faith without action is dead.
Yeah.
So if you don't take action based off the thoughts that you're having, based off of the things that you're thinking or the belief that you have, it's dead.
Right. Absolutely.
And those things that you were doing were bringing you were automatically in action.
Yeah.
Like you were already doing the things. That's powerful.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, again, I was looking at the different perspectives in life and how other people were doing it, personal training, fitness, and it was just so the same. It was like, man, this is so like everybody's doing it the same thing. Everything's like you walk in and here's your trainer, you want to go to Cabo, let's lose 30 pounds. You want to go on a vacation? But no, it's like, to me, it's like, I always tell people I'm preparing you for life. Mm-hmm. It's not just a fitness if you come in here, work out, and then go to Cabo. It's like, no, I'm training you for life. And I always joke around with like clients now. I'm like, they're always like, man, 5 more reps. I'm training you for life. You get through, this. Yeah. You get through this 5. Imagine what else you can get through.
What did you set me up for?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, It's
I'm like, what are we doing today? And then I look at the board. I'm like, oh God.
Training for life.
Training for life. Okay, that's my new. I'm going there like training for life.
Your shoes are on.
I told you that. He told me that if I don't show up, he's gonna come knock on my door.
Yes.
Yeah.
She said, I ain't telling him where I live.
Yeah. Cynthia, we're gonna start running. We're gonna run there, run back.
I like the idea of like workout instead of workout training.
Yeah.
Like there's a different
Yes.
mentality
Right.
behind it. Like it's not just a workout, we're training.
Right. Because,
and you can
yeah.
train forever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Anybody can go on Google right now and type in workouts for males, females, whatever it is. You're gonna get thousands and thousands of stuff. But you're so different than you, and we're all so different that the training that you need might be completely different than the training you need.
Thank God.
And so like that's where like, yeah, you might want to be getting strong, and I see your post being in the gym, but you know what? You're training for a different purpose than I am.
Yeah.
And you're training differently.
Training for
because-
purpose.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all different. And so like personal training in itself is an amazing thing, but what you apply it to is more important. It's like how you take a program and you apply it to somebody and say, here's your blocks. We're gonna go block 1, block 2, block 3, and this is what we're basically going to accomplish in those blocks. If you get behind in a block, don't worry, we'll get you through it. And so it's like step by step. That way you can really focus on that ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But some people just jump into the different programs, start again, and that puts us in the cycle of starting, which we do our whole entire life. So it's like fitness can teach you the structure of life of being like start date.
Discipline
end
is
date.
everything.
And you needed structure early on in your life.
Yep.
And I also think it's super interesting. There's some type of correlation between like you needed the way that I don't know, the charter school, whatever, broke down discipline. They broke it down
Right.
to you needed specific attention in a certain way. You were a certain type of kid, needed it a certain way. And that's the same way you're approaching your business. That your clients are a certain person, they need a certain regimen
Exactly.
versus
They're
like
very
one
customized.
size fits all.
Yeah. And that's just
That's
the
what I
thing.
Super
noticed right away. So
important.
when I was talking about at the beginning, not only did he have structure, he was willing to customize to what I wanted.
And I love that these are all things that he needed that are super important to his story and his success. And that's what he's giving to someone
That's where
else.
the passion comes in, and
Yeah.
that's where the realness comes in.
Ooh,
where
that's
somebody-
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And like tying back into that, it's like where it can be anything. Just fitness, I always tell people, it's a small portion of your life. It's what you do outside of the gym and what outside of those workouts is going to like sharpen you as well. Because I'm asking you for an hour, cut it down. It's probably 45 minutes of actual work. And so from there, that's 45 minutes of your day that I'm basically saying like dedicate this time. The rest of the time that you're out there, you're trying to make everything work though. You're trying to make the nutrition, the mindset, the getting up early, having a routine, staying on task of what you said you wanted to do. Because then when you get into the gym, you're ready to go. You're ready to work out. You're ready to leave. Go take on the rest of the day. I'm not asking you to be there 2 hours. I always ask people, let's just get this workout in, 45 minutes, you're gone. That way you have the rest of the day to set yourself up. This is a small portion of everybody's day that I basically attend to them. But it's what you do outside of that. It's that's the bigger picture. So, that's kind of where it ties into No Shine as well. So we can.
But so you were working at a gym. At what point did you you got a position in a local gym here in Springs?
Yep. So I was working at Vasa Fitness, and was there for about 2 years, going into my third year. And at the time, I saw a bright future for myself in this gym because it came so natural. It was like instant connection, basically being able to people to trust me, to like me. It was this instant, like, this is my calling. Holy crap, after doing all these jobs, this is what it was. Like, I've been in here so many times, and I've been in my whole calling the whole time. This is insane. So, like,
there's a nugget there.
Yeah.
There's a nugget there.
So that was intense for me, because once I started getting in front of people and I started speaking about their goals, their struggles, it was like, are you okay? I'm a little emotional. Like, are you okay? Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, what's happening, And we would come together across the table like this, but at the end of the meeting, we were just connected through what fitness is going to do for us, because what fitness has done for me. And so that was where it was really true, like, I'm where I need to be.
It's so crazy that what you found in helping others, also, like Dana was saying, you were helping yourself. Like, and I don't even know if you understand that subconsciously, what you were receiving back
by giving.
By giving, and it was feeding your inner, what you were missing even back then.
It finally hit me at one point, actually. I didn't realize that until I had back-to-back people leaving me books, and there was like notes with these books. It was like books of love, books of creativity, books of like hardships, and I touched them somewhere where it was like, this dude is with me. He's telling me it's going to be okay, and they would give me these gifts. And again, as much as I love those books and I wanted to read them, I still struggle with reading. I can't sit there and read a book and get anything from it. But I knew the thoughts and everything that they were basically presenting me was all of love,
the intention behind
and
it,
intention, and that meant more to me than ever reading that book. Just having that book is a piece of memory where it's like, you know what, I remember you, I remember where your struggles were, and I really hope you push past them, because I know you could. And that book is just a piece of sort of like my journey, of my stepping stones of, I impacted one life there. Let's get some more, let's continue.
Yes.
And so that to me is extremely important.
Aren't you excited to work out tomorrow?
Yes, yes I am. No, I am. I am. I'm excited.
No Shine, baby, no Shine. We training for life. Remember that, training for life.
That's right. Better do no shows.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that. Leah's not gonna let me.
Hey,
I'll come to your house. Shoot.
she know the address.
Right.
Watch out, there's some snakes out there.
Yeah.
Oh, hell. That's right. I don't know about all that. That's scary.
I'm cutting out. All right, go back to No Shine. Go back to the
So
background.
we're what, 2020?
Yeah, 2020. But let's just rewind real quick. No Shine actually came in 2012. So 2012 was actually the birth, I guess you can say, of No Shine. At the time, I was living in my mom's basement in Inglewood, Colorado. I just came back from living in Breckenridge, transitioned into my mom's basement. I remember looking around, and it smelled funny. There was stuff everywhere, and I just remember taking a piece of paper out. It was like a ripped piece of paper, and I wrote No Shine on this paper. That paper was placed into my wallet, right? And every time I was like feeling rough or just feeling like I was anxiety, depression, whatever it was, I'd look at that paper and be basically like, okay, it's No Shine right now, but it's what I do in that time to shine later. And so No Shine is basically
So dope.
Yeah. So I looked at my wallet, and I remember specifically this one time I opened my wallet and I was at the bar. I was hammered. I think I was like doing one of these, like, oh snap, I'm about to fall over. And I was about to pay, and I remember looking at No Shine, and I was drinking because I was upset, and I was like drinking because I was pissed, and I was hammered. And I remember like legit being like just sitting there like in a bad state of mind. And I looked at that paper, and I was like, man, you're really in it right now. You're deep in No Shine right now. It's here, it's present, and it's overflowing. And at that time, I was really trying to figure out, like, how do I get out of this? Because my dad, he loved alcohol, and genetics play roles. And so it's like, well, am I falling into this sort of thing? Am I am I really doing this? And, you know, that piece of paper was with me forever until I got really drunk and lost my wallet. That paper was gone. And so like after that, still trying to like figure out what's going on, you know, like still in my no shine. And so no shine kind of went away for a while. It kind of just like disappeared out of my life and I stopped thinking about it. Well, back in 2016, you know, me and my wife were basically just living in Parker, and she came across a t-shirt screening person, and she made t-shirts for me that said no shine on them, and it said be somebody on the back, just like this one. And so it's like you know, she made like
almost cried.
Yeah, she made 4 t-shirts for me, and you know, it was one of those things where she handed me those t-shirts, and it was like, I know it came from her heart, and it was tough because it was like, damn, like I lost what I was trying to do in this life. And I was like, all right, reset, look at these shirts, put them on. I wore those shirts, so they had holes in the pits. They ripped apart. I still have them. They're like hanging by the hangers. They're
like your armor.
Yeah, they are. And I should have brought one because it's shredded. But you know what? Like that shirt was a turning point, and it reminded me of what I was doing.
Opened your eyes back up.
Exactly. So boom, No Shine's like back alive.
Shout out to your wife. What's
Right.
Casey.
Casey.
Go
What's up,
Casey.
Casey? Good for you.
MVP.
Yeah, she's the best, and she's at work right now in the Air Force. You know, she works really hard, and without
Kudos
her,
to you.
yeah, she's my lifeline. So
That's sweet.
But yeah, so No Shine was sort of like sparked up again in my heart. You know, it was like, all right, here we go. No Shine was never meant to be a personal training business. It was meant to be an at-risk youth outreach program, which then it became that. In Colorado Springs, it became an official 501(c)(3) and nonprofit. Became a part of Harrison School District, and I was going to be a mentor at Harrison. So it's kind of fast forward. COVID happened.
I
right?
didn't get to hear any of this stuff, Joey.
So there's more.
That's crazy.
That is
So-
amazing because
and-
that school needs
Well, what's the
it.
craziest part is I was working at Toyota when we first moved here, and I took a lady on a test drive. She happened to be the principal of Harrison for like 13 years.
Look at God just
Yeah.
dropping them little
Yeah.
nuggets for
Yep.
you.
Shout out
That's
to-
what he does, right? And what do we talk about distraction? If you are distracted, you'll miss it.
Yeah.
Right.
You will
Miss
miss
the nuggets.
opportunities.
And this is crazy because Sherry Martinez, you know, that was the principal of Harrison High School, took her on a test drive. We kept driving. We were like almost to Pueblo, and we're just talking. and we're like, she's
I
like,
won't get out of the
yeah,
car.
she's like, do we? I was like, do we go back? What do we do? Like, we're gonna get to New Mexico soon. Like, it's crazy. But we're like talking, and she looked at me and
my
she just
goodness.
said, you need to get into Harrison High School. You need to be there for those kids. And to me, that was like, let's go. How do I do it? And then she's like, you have
Yeah.
to get a background. Next day, I'm there doing that. Well, then this is kind of where COVID is starting to like spark up. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue that program in there because they weren't letting kids in. But then again, COVID happened. So that's where No Shine was still there. And I kind of looked around, and people knew of No Shine as a nonprofit, but you know, it was kind of like that weird transition of like, I want to make this a business because there's still the nonprofit. No Shine Foundation is what it's called.
Right.
And now I'm turning it into the No Shine Project.
Right.
Because again, the word's a project. It's like we're all our own project.
Right.
And so that was kind of like where it started. And that's kind of like the rebirth of No Shine as a personal training
It
business.
sounds like to me, No Shine is going to end up being much bigger than just personal training.
It's gonna be really shiny.
You have so many branches that you can feed off of
Right.
No Shine and how you can move
It's
it
so
around.
cool seeing it so
with-
early
it's-
here in the background.
It's
Yeah.
that's a blessing. That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where the people that have been a part of it and have come into it have always been for the good. You know, I've had
Yeah.
nothing negative into it
Yeah.
where it's been like, how can we collaborate? How can we come together? Because when you look at the word No Shine and say you like walk by, it's like, was that a car wash? Like, what is that? Like, you know, what is that? Like, no shine on your fingernails? Like, what is this? Right. And so there's just so much like depth though.
It's
to
so much
it.
depth behind it because you see people with shirts and things that are very, and I'm not saying that that's not inspirational. Of course it's inspirational, but the meaning behind
Right.
it is
Right.
is not the prettiness.
Right.
It's the stuff that you go through behind the scenes. It's those things that you, when you're experiencing No Shine in your life, which we all go through.
Right. And that's exactly right. Like your No Shine and your No Shine, your No Shine might be completely different than
Yeah.
everybody else's. talking about divorces, talking about hardships, talking about how you're feeling during those times. What did you do in that moment to get out of it?
Right.
That's how you shine again. So the no shine is just basically like, let's relate, let's sort of come together, and let's put in the work to get out of that fear,
Right.
get out of that
Let's clean it up.
self-doubt.
Yep.
Let's clean it up. Let's focus in. Fitness is
Love
sort
that.
of that passion that I was able to put in place and say like, all right, I've worked at a gym for 2 years in Colorado Springs. I've, okay.
And then
got
COVID
that.
shut it down.
COVID shut it down, lost my job, basically got furloughed. The manager there at the time was basically like, hey, you come back into this position. And at the time when he called me, I was actually standing in my garage and there was crap everywhere. There was like stuff everywhere. And I was like, it's,
I'm good.
how am I going to say this? Like, thank you so much for the opportunities. Thank you so much for, giving me the opportunity to get into that gym and work there. But what I was like really seeing while I was on that phone call was a place, a square footage, 700 square footage, 700 feet of square feet of place to put people.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the floor, oil stains, looking at the walls, dirty. I was looking at the shelves on the wall, trash. It was just like,
No shine.
yeah, there was a no shine. And so I saw a vision though. And I was like, you know what? If I can get one person here, I'm gonna have so much self-belief. Like, give me
That's crazy.
Give me one person, and I swear I'll take off, because that's all I needed. I needed self-belief. I needed somebody to believe in me. I've always have. And so when someone gave me that basically self-belief, and I was like, all right, let's go get more people. Let's change more lives. Let's impact others. I'm gonna take 80817. This is my zip code that I live in. And
Represent.
And I want to impact it. Me and my buddy, EJ at Vasa, we always talked about impacting our zip codes. What can you do for your zip code? Do the work.
That's powerful.
Make change lives. Go to 80906. What can we do in 80906? Okay. Let's see what kind of lives we change over there. All right. Switch over to the next zip code. That's that perspective I still have. I'm in this perspective. Okay. Looks good. Clean it up. Let's go to the next one. All right. To the next one. And
So you're saying you're leaving us?
No. I mean,
Impacting more people, Leah. She's so territorial. She's so territorial.
I'm coming from lack and scarcity mindset right now.
yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah. You're walking distance now.
Right.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
Did you say I was territorial?
Yeah,
That's what you get. See, you almost fell off your
She's like, you're in my zip code, actually.
That's mine. And
I
you're
love
not
it though
leaving.
because you're taking pieces and finding
Sorry,
ways
that
to
Lulu.
take little pieces
Right.
from each area to clean it up, and you don't realize when you take those little tidbit pieces how much you
Yep.
affect other people and how fast it spreads.
Yeah. To me, this past year has been insane.
Yeah.
Being able
So
to
wait, so
see-
let's
Stacking
go
those
back really
little
quick.
wins.
So you're in this area in your garage. There's stuff everywhere. Take me back to that moment, and this person called you. They wanted to, offer you an opportunity, and you're like, nah.
Yeah. So I was basically.
But you can imagine. You had the imagination.
Yeah.
Already, you were
Well-
seeing what you could do. You knew that if I just got one person, but
Yeah.
then tell me the takeoff.
Yeah. So.
And even then, I'm gonna dive into this a little bit deeper because
Sure.
in Vasa they used to bring people in, and it was a little bit different. So in this one, you own the business. You have to go get the client. So then speak
Right.
about that process
Yeah.
in terms of the very beginning.
Right. So basically, the manager offers me a position, which is possible the head trainer of Vasa, and to me, I'm like, oh, okay, let's do it. I'm excited. I'm like, what certifications do I need? What do I need to do? I kind of like start stepping forward to that direction. Again, walking out of this garage, I was like, man, like there's something here. There's something right here. And so for me, it was that call that he made to me, and it was just like, hey man, like, you ready to do this? And I was like, inside I'm like saying no, I'm not
hesitating,
ready. I'm not ready.
Yo, I just got chills, but he had the belief in you. That's all that you needed to even
hear, yep.
believe in yourself about your own visions.
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
But
Right.
keep going.
He wanted to say that I can be the head trainer.
Yeah,
And it
he
gives me
believed in
goosebumps
you
too,
to give you the
because-
head trainer.
And that's what I looked at. I was like, if he says I can be a head trainer, I could be the head trainer of this garage.
Hell yeah.
And so
Yes.
That's it.
to
That's
me,
it.
to me, that was like instant connection to basically what's inside. And it was like, it felt like those sparks hit, everything sort of like triggered, turned on, voltage came in, and I was like, all right, well, give me a day to think about it, and I'll call you back. So now I'm like,
You already knew.
yeah,
Already knew though.
Yeah, I like knew.
You still got to
Didn't
play
wanna
around
tell
with
them.
the idea of it a little bit,
How to,
smooth
like,
it out,
yeah,
chew
talk-
on it a little bit.
Talk to the wife
Yeah.
and like, hey,
Yes.
look, this is what you got going on, you know, and that talk happened.
Being an adult is not
Yeah.
fun all the time. You got to.
Yeah.
Talk to the wife.
Talk to other people.
Talk to the wife. Yeah. And that was the point though, where, you know, I was like, you know what? Call him back. Basically was like, hey, this isn't going to happen. Like, I can't do it. I can't go forth offering that position. I can't take it. So we look at the garage, right? I cleaned it up. I painted it, painted the floors, did everything that I could to sort of make it presentable.
If you guys have not seen on Instagram,
It's nice.
I mean, it's super dope. It's not Vasa and it's not Gold's Gym and it's not, but it's
no
grit,
shine,
grind,
baby.
and yes, it's like there's so much depth. Exactly
Yeah.
what you said. Even in the gym itself, you get that ambiance as soon as you walk in. Like, look, we're not playing around.
Right.
Yeah.
We're
here
right
work.
to it.
Yeah.
We're not playing around.
This is your warm up. This
Yeah.
is your prescription for today. Take it. Let's go.
Yeah, talk to him. Whitney,
Scheduled that
Leah.
surgery now. I need to fill my prescription.
Yeah, well, it's time. It's time. So I do want to drop a nugget because during my downtime, I leaned on running, and it was like that physical challenge that gave me that small accomplishment that I stacked, right? And even in your childhood, you found a comfort in that gym. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But there's something attached to whether it's running or working out, whatever it is, to mental health.
Right.
Speak about
Yeah.
that journey and what you find, how working out helps mental health and balances all those things that you went through in your childhood. Just like all those, I can't even put them into a bucket, but you had all that still attached to you, but yet working out brought some type of balance.
Yeah.
Speak about that mental health and working out balance.
Yeah, so that's a very important part of the whole process is you have to have the right mindset, and your mental health has to be sort of like in check a little bit because you have to know kind of like where you want to go. I'm not saying your mental health has to be on point, but it definitely has to be of like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to put my shoes on, I'm going to put my shirt on, I'm going to get in the car, and I'm going to drive to get to this place where they're going to put me through physical activity. That's a very mental thing to think about.
Oh my God, I love that.
And so basically what I call mental health and what people deal with every day, and it says on the back of the shirt today, it says break free from your mental hostage. Because your mental hostage, if you can imagine and visualize a little, you know, guy in your head holding on to bars and chains around the ankles.
gremlins.
Yeah.
Yes.
The chains around the ankles trying to get out, that's your mental hostage. How are you going to beat that person, you know, down to get those shoes on, to get those pants on, to get to the gym, to not sit in your car longer than 5 minutes, to get out of the car? How are you going to do
Damn.
that? That's
Called me out.
Yep. So yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like people get to the gym, they sit in the car longer than they sit in the gym,
Yep.
and so it's a mental thing, just like running. You have to push yourself and keep moving, and that's just it. If you're going through it mentally, you have to keep moving.
I just want to throw in there, and one thing that I don't know if I read it, saw it, I don't remember, but it helped me in my journey when, you know, because I don't like to work out. I don't do it because
Right.
I like it. I really
I don't like running.
It's not for everybody.
So
Yeah.
there's some people that love working
Yeah.
out and they get their endorphins and whatever, you know, from working out, and that's great. But for me, I don't like working out, but I know that it's important. I know that I need to be disciplined in it because I know that it's going to be productive
Right.
for me. And one thing that I know that is if you are struggling in that mindset of making a decision, you can do something as easy as setting out your shoes, your running
Right.
shoes, as putting your socks and getting them ready, putting them on the door, or putting the outfit, you know, right there as soon as you wake up bedside, so that it begins that action for you. You're
Creates
just
a
taking those
routine.
little teeny
preparation.
tiny steps to then
And it makes you almost kind of hold
Progress
yourself
you.
accountable a
Right.
little bit when you
Yes.
see it. Well,
Yeah.
I laid my gym clothes out and I'm going to go today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
And then again, you're preparing for life.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
preparing for life, which then you're going to come train for life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those things where you're setting yourself up for success immediately, to where if you wake up and you see the shoes and you walk past them and you continue your day and you don't put those shoes on, then basically it just shows you that, like, you know, you're willing to step over your issues over and over and over again. So
Yes.
it's one of those things where you continue to do that over and over and over. Now you look at the time, you look back in the day, or like back, and you're like, if I would put those shoes on, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's hard to start again 5 years later, because you're gonna remember those feelings, and you're gonna remember, like, damn, like, you know, I give up on myself. I know that I step over, you know, basically things that are hard. And when I'm faced, you know, adversity, I sort of like take the other way around it. And so for me, it's like one of those things, whether you're a client, whether you're a friend, whether you're a family member, it's being able just to prepare. That way when you come in to either it's a garage, a new job, something that's like challenging, you know what to do. You kind of like have the mindset ready.
Yes, mindset.
You have that mindset to step forth and basically execute, because if you don't, you'll continue to find different directions, and then you'll become very lost.
Yes.
So.
Mindset is everything. It has to be. It is a critical component in every area of your life. Working out, business, relationships, friendships, mindset is everything. It all starts there. Yeah. Then you're able to start to execute everything else, you know. And I also love within your story some of, you know, what I was talking about earlier, the lack and scarcity mindset. He could have very well looked at what he didn't have. That's lack. Okay?
Or what was
scarcity.
around him.
Yes. And that the scarcity of not having both parents available, the scarcity of having his mom gone, the scarcity of losing the job. You know what I mean? There's all of these things compounding. We talked about the, you know, the compounding against him. And yet he chose, because the opposite of scarcity is abundance.
Right.
And so he chose abundance.
He had the imagination of abundance.
Yes.
I think that's key too.
And looking back at that time, I was terrified to start, because I remember at the time, you know, we weren't like, I guess, really prepared to start a business.
I was just about to say, like, you took a big leap being a parent. Your wife's in the military. Like, you're taking a risk on changing the dynamic of your household.
Oh yeah, and the fear,
it's big.
The fear was like hotter than ever. It was like burning through my body.
Paralyzing.
You know, the fear was like, it was. I remember my ears being warm just thinking about, I'm about to do this. Like, what am I about to do? I don't know. Like,
but I bet that pushed you to work harder, so you didn't fail.
It was basically looking at that garage and being like, man, I have my own place. Like, I have my own business. It's not a brick and mortar.
It's right
but
there.
But there's a door and a light switch.
Right.
You know, there's an address.
Yeah.
There's all
many
this stuff.
great businesses started in the garage.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know, I didn't even know that until later.
Or
when
the
somebody,
basement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or the basement. Okay, Lou. There she goes. She's like, you blew
don't forget
me,
about the basement.
motherfuckers.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So to me, coming from where I came from, I never even had a garage. And so, like, for me now to have a garage, to me, that was like,
big.
Whoa, this is like, can you imagine if I had a garage when I was younger? I was like, dude, this is like a space. It's a space of creativity. And again, I have that creative mindset where it's like, if you walk into my garage, that's what's inside my head. Like the way everything is set up.
I like that.
That's what you're like walking into my brain.
Right.
Almost. So that's important to me, that people, when they walk in, they're like, this is a garage. Right. You know what I mean? And
it doesn't feel like that. I mean, it really doesn't.
It doesn't look like it from the pictures from the
like
social media page. It looks like a legitimate,
and that's like,
it looks like a gym.
People, you know, I get messages of like, where's this place?
Right.
It's like, I'm in my house. And they're like, what?
I didn't realize it until I seen one picture and the garage door was like cracked open. And I was like, it is a garage.
Yeah. It's
a big garage.
I got a girlfriend that just hit me up. And I don't know. I don't know if it was about the podcast or what that I posted up, and she said, "Where is that?" And I said, "Girl, that's right here in Mountain.
Right?
Yeah.
That's in his garage." And
when she
was
told
like,
me,
"Is
I
he
was
good?" I'm like,
excited.
"Yes."
I was like, down in Fountain, I don't have to drive all the way up north anymore, because that's
girl.
Then that
you ain't
fear
gotta tell
on
me.
top of everything else started setting in. Look, I'm paying for this
It's
membership.
gotta be a little bit
I'm
convenient.
paying for all this stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm driving an hour to come see you every morning,
Right.
and I got to work all day. Oh no,
time management right there. So it's like being able to find places that are convenient for busy professionals, you know, that are like trying to make a business work while having that healthy mindset, while having that motivation, while breaking through that mental hostage.
Yes.
It's got to be convenient for everybody, because if it's not, everybody else sort of like lacks. The balance, the work balance kind of like falls behind. And so like the convenience, that's
Go
why.
ahead, boy. Take him to church.
Yeah, that's why there's all these services out here, is so we can pay for time.
Right.
Like we're paying for
Right.
time. So
Right.
that's important.
All right, I got a question because we always try to help our fans, our listeners, all these things, and there are people listening here today through the podcast, and they are in a mindset of lack and scarcity.
And let me before you. Sorry, Dana, but
You see how I just did that? You just try to save my shine. Look, Whitney,
I am not
No
trying
shine.
to steal your shine.
no shine
No, I
today
just
for
want-
Danny Keith.
I just want to say they need to understand what scarcity is. They need to
Yeah.
understand what lack is, because somebody may be like, what the heck does that mean? And they
Yeah.
don't even understand that they're coming
That
from
they're
that
in
mindset.
it. That they're in it. Yeah.
And what
Break it down for
is
us, Leah.
short supply. Scarcity is short supply. It's a limited amount of something.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just, there's not enough
Belief,
for everybody. There's not
money.
enough for me.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And even when you whether even if you're doing good or I'll be honest with you guys. There was a point in my life, and this is all my junk that I had to work through, where there, if you were competing with me, then God, then
Right.
I didn't want you around me. I didn't want you by me. And I had this scarcity mindset, this lack mindset. And what I had to realize is that the more, so like money, right? Think about this. You hold money in your hand, and if you're clinging to it so hard, they can't open up your grasp and give you any more. Like there's not, because you're holding it so tight.
Yeah.
That's that lack mindset. It's when you open it up and like there's enough
You
for
can receive.
everybody
Yes.
that you can receive so
And
much.
That's so
Damn,
important
that's so
too,
crazy.
because I grew up without money, and so when I see money coming in now, I can live with it or without it. I've done it for so
Right.
long, and so like when it comes into my like right there where I can see it coming in, to me, to my head, I know it's important because it feeds the family. But at the same time, when I tell people, look, I don't want to turn you away from the garage. Let me.
He had money like inside of his little drawer just falling out. I was like,
Right,
dude,
right.
you want to take care of that?
let me tell you how I can help you though.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Like
Yes.
when I think about like, what I'm charging and that money and having that grasp of it, I don't think I ever like picture it because I've always not had money.
Yeah.
So like when money comes now, I'm just thinking, thank you so much.
Yes, gratitude.
Thank you so
That's
much.
it.
Yeah.
My daughter and my son and my newborn baby and my wife, we're all going to eat.
Yes.
And we're all going to continue this journey in life. And so like the money, for me, it's having that grasp and keeping that open hand, because
Yes.
there is enough for
Everybody.
everybody.
Yes.
And people do get so scared that it's saturated or
Yes.
it's not. Be different. Reevaluate.
Yes.
Do things different. Don't be
And
the
you
same
have
person.
to do those things. And Dana, so to bring your shine back, you were going to ask
Send it.
Yeah,
for
I-
our viewers, for our
Yeah, I think
listeners.
I think it's a great nugget though, and I appreciate the clarification because people need that. They need the breakdown to even understand the question.
am I coming from that place?
Yeah.
Right, and basically what it is the question that I want to throw at you is what advice would you give somebody to lean towards the abundant mindset when you're in a lack of scarcity mindset? Because we do get there, and obviously we've all been there, and we all go there all the time. It's an everyday battle. But what tips or advice would you give somebody to help them through that no shine moment?
I think the most important thing is figure out what you want to do, and once you figure that out, figure out how you can be different. That's the biggest thing. Is you can look online and type in personal training, photography. It's gonna look a lot very similar to a lot of different business. But when I look at this business that I'm in right now, like walking in here, it's like walking into my garage. It's just so different. It's a different feel. The energy is different. So if you're trying to create something, you're trying to be something, and you really trying to struggle of like, how do I get through it? Just try to be different. That's the biggest thing, is be different, be creative, and fail often. That's what they always say. Because if you're not failing on a consistently, then how are you gonna get better?
Right.
I fail every day. Like every day is I have to push forward.
Right.
It's just me in that garage. I have to understand, how can I go get more people to come here?
Yeah.
That's being creative.
Right.
I have to be extremely, extremely creative. I have to give that task at hand to say, look, I need this many hours to be finding new people that are struggling,
Right.
overweight, looking to gain muscle. I need to go find them. How am I going to find them? I need to be different.
Right.
And so no matter what you're doing, it's just being able to look at the industry that you're in or that you want to get into and take that different perspective on it and be like, oh, I can definitely do this industry. I'm going to do it a lot different than everybody else. I'm not going to post the same amount of things. I'm going to create my own brand, my own image. So when you look at it, you keep scrolling and being like, holy crap, this stuff is like almost like addicting to look at, because I know, like, listen to one of your guys' podcasts before, most of us do our business through social media. And that's one of the things where if you're sitting there scrolling and couples are on their phones, it is a point to where, like, yes, that can be unhealthy, but at the same time, you got to study your industry. You got to go in there prepared and being like, how am I going to be different? What am I going to do? Am I going to copy and paste a post? Am I going to share someone else's post, or am I going to make my own post?
Right.
That's where it's like you're becoming a leader in yourself by doing things different and by looking at stuff and getting the inspiration. That's what I do. But I look at it and I think different ways that can be done. How can I take that post and make it better? How can I take that image and create it completely different? So when someone looks at it, they're saying, I want to be a part of that.
That's dope.
Right.
So
Right.
All right, I gotta say this because you brought up our previous podcast. Okay, we had a couple things going on last podcast. I just want to touch base. How we doing? All right, ladies, is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all sound a little nervous.
I'm a little nervous.
We have
All right,
homework.
Whitney. So on the last podcast,
You know
told
what?
us
You're
that
just going to call me out right away. I
told
knew
us-
you were going to call me out right away.
You told us you were gonna have a life verse. Leah's over there laughing. I hope you wrote down some stretch goals, some small goals, some midterm goals, some long-term goals.
Coming. You're on my neck. I can't breathe right now.
And then also, Whitney, like, how is your week being present? I just want to touch base, you know what I'm saying? Just for our listeners who tune in, you know what I'm saying? I want everybody to look at Leah's face right now. Right now, look at Leah's face. So, no shine, baby, no shine. Look, man. Since they have nothing for us at the moment.
you need to give me a chance to talk. I was about to pull out my phone.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Hey.
You're not going to cut up on me.
She gonna share something.
You're not going to cut up on me. So my goals that I set for this week, I think what I said on the last podcast is that I wanted to be more attentive to my personal responsibilities in my life. Something similar
Being present.
to that. Being present in my responsibilities.
Yeah, how you been this
And I
week?
feel like I did great this week. They may be little tasks, but I got a lot of stuff that I needed to personally get done that I have been neglecting in my home. And I didn't realize how just your environment, like your space, like even just it being in my room, when you're lacking the focus on what's important in your home, you can see it and you can feel it when you come in your room, and it changes your energy and how you go about your day. So the fact that I was able to get the stuff that I had done on my list, I came into my room and felt amazing.
Good for you, Whitney. Good for you. Give
I
her a
went
round
through
of
my
applause.
closet. I got
go
rid
ahead.
of stuff. I donated. I got my shit done. So
Good job, Whitney.
I did. I held myself accountable with my responsibilities this
Amen.
week.
Good for you, girl. Good
And
for
then
you.
as far as my quote, I'm gonna have to kind of fall back to the one that Leah gave me.
And that's okay
last
if
week.
somebody gives it to you.
Yeah, it's okay.
And
It
I
could
felt
be
like
your
mine
life
was
verse.
given to
necessary
me.
because it touched me when you read it.
That's the key right there, is that when you feel that penetrate down deep in your soul, you're like, all
Yeah,
right.
that's
And
my
don't
life
get me
verse.
wrong, I went through. I
You
have
got a
stuff
life
saved
verse?
on my phone. I have
A
stuff
life
saved
verse?
on my
Do
phone.
you have a life verse? Leah introduced this to me, so I don't know if everybody knows about
Scripturally.
this.
Scripturally.
Like a
iron sharpen iron.
yeah, life scripture, I guess.
But
Is that
that may
kind of
not
what it
be
is?
it.
But
You know,
I
but
definitely.
I'm gonna repeat
go
my
off
life
that one.
verse so people can hear it, because this
Yeah, girl, go
this
ahead.
was powerful to me when she read it, on our last podcast. So
And we got a couple minutes, so Joe can get out.
yeah.
it says, "Do not despise the small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. To see the plump
Yes.
line in the hand, represent the eyes of the Lord."
Yeah, don't despise the days of small beginnings. So those small little steps that you take
Right.
to get you out of wherever it is that you need to be, those small little steps that you take within your bedroom,
Hey.
Helped
girl.
me had
Yes.
a whole
Look how
different
that just,
energy for
like,
the week. Yes,
Yeah.
Put it all
that
together.
made me feel a lot more in control of my life. A little bit.
Love.
So I did stay on task.
Good for you. Good for you, girl. What about you, Leah? How was your goals?
I
Did you
did-
set some goals?
No, I did. did. I really did. Like, I was thinking in my head, you know, about what it is that, like, what's my next step? Because here's literally what I've been thinking. And I talked to Juanita a little bit about it, was just the fact that you can be working and working and working and working. And she talked about the book of Ecclesiastes. So Solomon was David's son, and he was one of the wisest kings, richest. He had everything, women, kingdoms, anything you could think of today's day and age he had. And yet he said, it's all like chasing the wind.
It's always going.
Because he said, why am I going to start to create and create and create and then give to somebody, possibly his kids, because that's what I believe in, is legacy.
Yeah.
And what if they take it like the prodigal son and they just do away with it? So you work so hard for all of these things and then it's just wasted away.
Wow.
And so I am evaluating my life at this particular point, that why am I working so hard? Not that I don't think that I should.
Right.
But where does my time and my playtime come in, where I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor?
Yes.
Right.
With the people that I love.
Right.
Because otherwise, what is it all for?
Yep. Because you can wake up or not wake up tomorrow.
And so as much as I was setting goals and thinking like medium, short, and long, I was also thinking, you know what?
Gives me an idea for you.
Time to let go and time to just like go away for a while.
Yeah, boat shoes. You heard? Boat shoes, boat shoes.
And you can't feel guilty about it either.
And I'm not going to.
I think
can't.
It's important though that you look at that, because having kids in a family, they're going to always look at you and know how to get something. You know, I wish I had something like that in my life at a young age, because I'd be able to look at it and be like,
thank you for that.
I could really look at
See,
that.
She needs that.
Yeah,
she needs
see.
that.
She needs to hear that. Yeah.
I could see if I was, you know, like a young kid looking at that, I'd be like, oh, mom's a badass.
Yeah.
And I want to be like that. I didn't have that. I had to like figure out, who do I want to be? Who is my inspirations?
Yeah.
And their inspirations live right next into their house. You know, that's right here. And I think finding that, saying that word legacy, this is your legacy. Yeah. It's being able to
speak that word into her. Talk to Leah. Tell her about herself.
Field, right? This was a dirt field. You guys came over here. You saw what holes were in this foundation, just like fitness, like I talk about your foundation. You filled those holes up. You've built this beautiful house, and right there, you've laid it down. You've laid down how you build a foundation, how you build a
big old
house.
foundation,
right?
A big old lighthouse,
a lighthouse that creates residual income.
Right.
Might I add? Yes.
So later in their life, when they get into 30s, 40s, and they go through a time of no shine, they can look back at you and be like, "Man,
be inspired by what mom did.
Look what she did. She took that foundation and made something beautiful."
Not even the good things, even the bad things that they've seen you go through. That's where I feel like kids learn the most. They're sponges. They see how you pull out of it,
right,
and what you do after the fact.
So
that's the important part.
And I think being able to find like where you're trying to find, you know, your fruits of your labor, you're right here in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's one of those things where we're not getting
talk
into that.
Talk, Joey.
We're not getting
We gotta bring Joey back.
We're not in a car driving 30 miles, sitting in traffic, instantly automatic thoughts. Why that guy cut me off? You're here.
Freaking idiot.
Yeah,
Right.
You're in the you're in the moment, and why? Because you created it.
Yes.
You created what you wanted.
Amen.
You're speaking my language right now.
Yes.
Yo, this
On
was.
all
I gotta
levels.
cut y'all off. This
Yes.
was a great podcast.
It was wonderful.
Thank you, Joey, for coming
Yes,
up,
thank you
sharing
so
your
much.
story.
Thank you
Thank you
so
for
You
your
guys find
time.
him on
Yeah,
Instagram
it
as
was
No
me
Shine
cry.
Project.
No Shine underscore
All of
project.
us,
Is that
all of
right? No Shine underscore project.
No Shine Project.
No Shine project. All right, I was just checking, make sure we good.
I told you he called me out that one.
She was like at No Shine. I was like,
He
oh.
was like, no.
actually, it's
Yeah, I just had to
Facebook's
give my
No
man.
Shine.
You
You
know what I'm
guys, he's in
saying?
Fountain, Colorado, right off of is it Legend Oak?
CNS.
If you're trying to train for life,
Yes.
train for life.
Yes.
Go see him.
Yeah.
Hit him up.
If you're
I'm
trying
going
to be
tomorrow.
Be
Yeah.
somebody.
I'm starting my life journey tomorrow.
Yeah,
y'all.
girl.
Ready.
Get your prescription.
Oh, I'm gonna get my prescription filled.
Until next time, guys.
Peace.
Thank you. Bye, guys. That was great.
Yeah.
That was so good. We do that just about every time.
Sorry, bro. They get me every time. I'm just glad it's somebody else this time. Give me a moment.
That was good.